Go. Welcome everyone to our Breakfast Club call. My name is Pamela Pacheco, and I have the absolute honor, pleasure, and privilege of being your host on this beautiful Thursday morning. I remember when I first embarked upon entrepreneurship almost 12 years ago, I was looking forward to these type of morning mentorship calls, not for the information I was receiving, but for the inspiration I was going to receive. We all know that the subconscious mind is open the most in the morning and at night. So, how you start your day sets the tone for your day because that is when you retain the most of the information that you are looking upon. And garbage in is garbage out, greatness in is greatness out. So, kudos to each and every single one of you guys that decided to start your morning off with some fire, some positivity, some greatness, and you chose to tune in this morning. So, welcome if you are joining us once again. Welcome home, and thank you guys for being on. So, last week we were talking about Godfidence. We were talking about, sorry, the week before that, we are talking about Godfidence. Last week, we were talking about how having clarity builds momentum. And today's podcast, or really more than anything, our episode is going to be on fearless legacy, letting go and leveling up. And one of the things that I feel more than anything is that holds people back is the fear. When if you talk about any and every person that is a dreamer, every person that is a legacy builder, whether it's an entrepreneur, whether you are in any aspect of life, whether you are a career professional and you are striving to get to that next level, not only within your career, but within yourself. It doesn't matter if you are a fitness enthusiast, it doesn't matter what aspect of life you are in. We all struggle with fear at some point. And fear means nothing more than false evidence appearing real. It can tell you forget everything and run, or it can tell you face everything and rise. And I remember when I first embarked upon entrepreneurship almost 12 years ago, I was scared. I was scared because I was making six figures in multiple six figures in corporate America as a commercial banker. And my mom had just got sick the first time. And it was scary because I know she was depending a lot on me. And at that point, I was just like, well, what if people tell me no, right? What if people laugh at me? What if people ridicule me? What if people just do the most? Because, people are mean. And I remember just being at a place in my life that I said, you know what? I can't pay my bills with anybody's opinions. I can't build my dreams or my legacy with the opinions of other people. And I also knew that people were going to talk anyway. People were going to laugh anyway. I might as well have given them something to talk about, something to laugh about. And the reality is that even though I probably cried, I laughed at the end. Why? Because everything that I said that I was going to do when I left my career, I did. And a lot of those same people that were laughing, that were saying, oh, that would never work. And that business, you're never going to travel, right? Your girl's on her third passport. I was able to travel and create more memories than anybody really in my family. And what was cool about it is that I was the person that got to spend the most time with the person that I love the most. That was my superhero, my mom. I was the person that had the freedom, both time freedom and financially, to when it mattered most, the last 9 months of her life, that I was able to take care of her because I didn't listen to people. But more than anything was that I didn't listen to that little voice in my head that was like, you can't do this. You're not good enough to do this. This is impossible, because even in the word impossible, it tells you I'm possible, right? So type a one in the chat if you've ever embarked upon fear, right? Because we've all gone through it. And I remember in that moment too, like my stomach was in knots. My mind was just racing with all of the what ifs, right? What if I fail? What if no one listened? What if no one follows me? What if people judge me? But deep down, I knew one thing. What if this works? What if it does work? What if it really, really not only works for me, but allows it, because it worked for me, it allows me to help more people. Because at the end of the day, that's really what we're here to do, is to serve. It's to further his kingdom. So I want to talk about how, more than anything, how to stop playing small and really start moving with purpose and start moving purposeful. And I tell you this, whether you talk to a successful person, a successful entrepreneur, an athlete, a visionary, a career professional that's made it to the top of the top, they'll tell you one thing. They felt the fear and they did it anyway. And if we really are being honest, one of the biggest dream killers and dream stealers, it always shows up as panic or anxiety. And sometimes it also even looks like procrastination. And the fear will creep in and tell you, like, girl, boy, you know you're not ready. I'm not ready yet. And sometimes it's that little voice that says, who do you think you are? Who do you think you are that you're deserving of this greatness, right? Imposter syndrome is real. Who do you think you are that you're deserving of this legacy that you want to create? Who do you think you are that you're deserving of having a future when you have such a past? And let me tell you, my pastor reminded me of this last week. The enemy is not afraid of your past. The enemy is more afraid of your potential. And I want to tell you too that what God has blessed and protected, hell can't hijack. So it doesn't matter what past mistakes you have. It doesn't matter what your past says. It doesn't matter what you did. It doesn't matter. None of those things matter. What matters is, are you taking advantage of the opportunity of today? Are you taking advantage that your limbs are working today? That you have full, full, full potential to do anything that you put your mind to? Because that little voice is going to creep in any single time that you're on the brink of doing something great, that you are on the verge of absolute greatness. But fear isn't really your enemy. It's just a signal. It means that you're stepping outside of your comfort zone, because we all know our comfort zone is our broke zone. And the moment we step out of our comfort zone, we start to grow. Everything that is amazing for us, it's outside of our comfort zone. And, going a little bit back, even recently, where was I? My goodness, where was I? I was in, and this is not recently, it's going to be, oh my goodness, it was like 6 months ago. We were in Italy. And we were in the Amalfi Coast. Shout out to Lisa and Denise. I love them. And we were about to go on this boat, and it was a big catamaran. And I'm like, okay, they had no idea. I get seasick really, really bad. But I was the first one that was all for it. Yes, we're going on the Amalfi Coast. Yes, we're going to Positano. Yes, oh my goodness, from there we're going to Capri. Yes, 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 let's do it. Let's do it. Right? And that's not yet the biggest thing yet, okay? So we were doing this, and then when we did on this, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna distract myself and go take pictures by the edge of the boat. And then I'm gonna take pictures by the edge of the boat. Shout out to you, Lakers, La Prima, right? I was going and I'm taking pictures, and I'm just not paying attention to how long we're on this catamaran, because I am a little scared at this moment. But I'm so happy that I felt the fear and I did it anyway, because Amalfi Coast, Positano is one of those things that you need to experience in your lifetime. It is absolute beauty. It is witnessing the glory of God. It is just so beautiful to witness one of God's most precious creations. But imagine if I would have let the fear hold me back from that. And then it gets better, right? And Lisa's going to be like, I didn't know you were scared about that. Yes, I kind of was, Lisa, right? But then we're going in the island of Capri. And by the way, right, that is the best Capri Sun ever. It's in Italy. And we're going on these high chairs. And these high little chairs, they're like bicycles. And we're going on these chairs. And I was like, Lisa, I don't really think I'm gonna do this. I confided in Lisa in that moment. I was like, girl, I don't know if I'm gonna do this. It's a little high. And I'm like seeing people like go all the way up, and then they're coming all the way back down. And I was like, I don't know. See, the going up part is not, it's not like, that's not the worst part for me. But like while we're up there, like that's like really high elevation. Like I don't know what's gonna happen while we're up there. And Lisa's like, well, you're coming, you're with me, you're good. And then she's like pointing to a little kid that's like, look at this little kid. Little kids are doing it. And in my mind, I'm just like, girl, you cannot be over here and be shamed, right? And actually be, let these little kids put you to shame. And I'm so grateful that I was like, you know what? I'm gonna feel the fear and I'm gonna do it anyway. And I could go to you on so many countless experiences of things like that. And again, fear is not your enemy. It's a signal, sorry, that you're stepping outside of your comfort zone. And guess that's exactly where the magic happens. So remember that everything you've ever wanted is on the other side of fear. But you got to let go of that fear because it truly is false evidence appearing real. And it could tell you forget everything and run, or it could say forget everything and rise. And in some cases, that's actually going to be literally if you're traveling. So that was something so incredible. And I even remember too when I was going to speak on TV for the first time, and this was almost 2 years ago. And I was like, oh my goodness. And my friend, shout out to Kiva, she was like, girl, you got this. Don't worry. I'm going to be there a little late actually, because I have another event. And I knew my topic. I can tell you exactly too what was my first topic that I ever spoke at on TV. And it was about nurturing your talents and ways that you could do that. And I was going on Bloom TV, and shout out to WFLA. It's a internationally syndicated show through NBC, and it was amazing. But I remember just feeling that fear that I was just like, oh my goodness, right? And I had like a dress on that was long sleeve, and I had a blazer on, and people got so much value from that segment. Ways to nurture your talents, ways to nurture, and people got so much value that to the point that the host was like, you know what, I'm going to refer you got to talk to our Spanish show. I don't know if you speak Spanish, but you got to talk to our Spanish producer. We have a Spanish show that I think you would be great on. And the producer, like all of these people, then I became friends with them, right? And it is so beautiful because I literally, if I would have just let fear hold me back from that, not only would I've never gone on TV, I would have never been able to get people that I love on TV, clients on TV, and now it wouldn't even be a service that I'm able to offer people. So it's not letting the fear stop you, it's feeling the fear and doing it anyway, because that is really where the magic happens. Everything amazing in our life happens outside of our comfort zone. So let's go on to the next part of this. Why you got to let go of the fear? Especially if you want to build a legacy, you want to build something meaningful. Because fear is a liar, right? Fear is a blocker, really and truly, but it shrinks your vision, and it shrinks your potential. It also delays your progress, and it dims your light. But legacy is loud. Legacy is long lasting. Legacy is what you leave behind when you're gone. And that can be built from a place of fear. And I tell you, one of the greatest things, and one of the greatest examples that I have and we have as a family is the legacy that my mom lived and left, and also the legacy of both of my late uncles, my uncle Junior and my uncle Tio Biembo, right? And it's crazy because when you think of the amount of fear that they probably went through, and let's talk about my mom for a second. Not only because she's my favorite girl in the whole wide world, but ladies first, right? It's just manners. But imagine a woman in her 20s that was a prominent lawyer in her country that barely spoke English, said, I'm going to America. I'm going to sacrifice my entire identity to raise my two girls. I just got divorced from the father of my girls' children, my girl's dad, and I'm just going to start over. And why I say that she's going to sacrifice her identity is because imagine, not when I say prominent lawyer, I also mean prominent lawyer, community activist. My mom was working for the White House in the Dominican Republic during the government of Jorge Blanco, right? She was leading political movements. She was leading the the Ministry of Kids and Development of the Youth in the Dominican Republic, all speaking all over the country, right? Highly known all over. And she said, you know what? I am going to leave a place where I live like a queen, because she also had help, right? You're talking about in Dominican Republic, you always have like an in-home nanny and an in-home person that cleans, that cooks, like you really get to live your soft life. But she said, you know what, I'm going to leave all of that behind, and I'm going to go to New York City, to the Bronx out of all places, and raise my girls and start all over. And while she was actually working in the law firm with my Tio Casimiro, right, she also said, you know what, as if that's not enough, I'm going to go work in the bodega. I'm going to go work in the salon in the evenings while I do this, because officially she had to revalidate all of her years of studies from the Dominican Republic so that she can officially practice law. So she was practicing law under the table, under the radar, under my uncle's license while she was here. So that's why she really couldn't, practice law as she really wanted to. But the reality is she sacrificed so much to the point that then, we moved, she got remarried. She had my little brother, and shout out to my brother Felix, he's amazing. And then we moved to South Florida. And when we moved to South Florida, she again said, you know what, I'm going to sacrifice my identity again. There was no law firm that she was going to practice. Then she went into property management and she said, I'm going to still do politics. And then she got into politics again in South Florida. She led political revolutions from still, advocating for Dominican Republic politics in South Florida, built organizations in South Florida for political movements from South Florida to North Florida to all over, still doing it in New York City from Florida and doing it in Dominican Republic. And then said, on top of that, I'm also now going to go into ministry. She became a deacon and all of these things. And I can go on and on and on, right? Then she later on divorced. Then she got remarried again, went and suffered domestic violence. Like I can go on and on about her story, but here's the reality of it. To this day, there's people that still hit me up and are like, I cannot believe what happened. I miss her every single day. Her light, her joy, her voice was so powerful, how she led, how she always made us better, how she served our communities. Her legacy always lived on. And I remember when I first embarked upon the journey of entrepreneurship, it was through the industry of direct sales, through network marketing. And my mother was the first person to support me because she supported everything I did, right? And it's funny because, people will be like, oh, MLM schemes and that. And it's like, you can't listen to people that have never built anything great in their life. Imagine if I would have let the fear of people like that judging me, or people, criticizing something that they've never even known, that it's one of the most profitable industries. It creates more 6-figure and 7-figure earners than any industry has historically. If I would have let them stop that, I would have never been able to travel the world with my mom. I would have never been able to build enough passive income that it replaced my passive income my income that I was making at the bank, nor would I have been able to live the life that I lived with my mother, nor would I have been able to develop the skill sets that I have, because even the skill sets that I have today that I get to utilize on TV, on the conferences that I host, in ministry, in everything that I do, it's because I've learned it in this industry. But imagine if I would have let fear hold me back, especially the fear of you're not good enough, or you can't do this, or you can't do that, or oh, people are going to judge, or people are going to, let me tell you something, people are always going to talk. Give them something to talk about. But your legacy is worth living. And I'm so grateful that not only was my mom one of my biggest supporters, we got to travel all over the world. Right, my mom also built the business, so she also got passive income because she knows, like the good word says, a good man or woman leaves an inheritance for their children's children. Okay. And today, the work that I do in consulting, the work that I do in speaking is because of the skill sets that I learned in this industry. So I'll always be an advocate for the industry that very well contributed to the woman that I am today, to the powerhouse. And guess what? Today, I actually get to go speak at Thomas Jefferson High School, right? For 9 to 12th graders as their motivational speaker for the day. Imagine if I would have let the fear hold me back. Imagine if I would have let people criticizing and talking smack hold me back. And till this day, people still got something negative to say. But I know where my identity is. My identity is from God. But I also know that I'm going to be fearless in building my legacy, because at the end of the day, when you're moving in purpose, you're not just doing it for you, you're doing it for the ones watching. And those, it's not because all the haters are watching, or no, oh, it's your family. But when my nieces and my nephews and my godchildren, they talk about celebrities, you know who they talk about? They talk about their Titi Pam. They talk about their godmom. Why? Because those are the ones that are coming after you, and the ones who need your voice, your story, your courage. And imagine if your story can be someone else's survival guide. And I'm going to repeat that one more time. Imagine if your story can be someone else's survival guide. Let that sink in for a minute. So we're talking about all of these things, right? Fear, and I can give you stories upon stories about kicking fear's butt to this day, over and over and over again. But how do you let go of that fear? I want to talk about some real strategies because mindset is powerful, but action is the antidote to fear. So, number one, fear, taking notes because note takers are history makers. Name the fear. Don't dance around it, don't tiptoe around it. Name it. Name the fear. Call it out. Call it out. Write it down. Say it loud. And then I want you to ask yourself, what am I really afraid of? What am I really afraid of? What am I really afraid of? See, and going back to when I first embarked upon entrepreneurship, I remember being so scared. And I didn't have these modalities, right? Because my personal development wasn't what it is today. But I remember in that little voice when I was thinking about all of the what ifs, the what ifs, what if this, what if that. I was like, you know what? What if this really works? And I was just like, I'm gonna the fear and do it anyway. Because even from back then, I knew one thing because my mother had raised us to be so faithful. Faith and fear can't live in the same space. Two thoughts cannot coexist in the same space. And whatever you fuel is what's going to explode. So I was like, I ain't gonna feed no fear. I'm gonna fuel this faith though. Because all I need is faith of the size of a mustard seed. And ask yourself though, what are you really afraid of? So let's say you're practicing social media and it's a big thing. You know, I deal with this with a lot of my clients, whether it's business consulting or social media marketing, and they're building out their digital blueprint. And they're like, well, an example, I'm scared to show up online because I don't want to be judged and I don't want to, be ridiculed or just feel. So here's how we flip it. I'm going to show up because someone needs my story today. So you're flipping it. And here's really what it comes down to. When you're saying something out loud and when you're calling it out, and then when you flip it, you're creating your own narrative. You're taking the power from it because you're saying, you know what? I could feel the fear, but I got to remember who I am because of whose I am. And I'm not here to play small because you don't know how long you got left here. So why let fear hold us back? We don't got time for that. We're not on that run right now. Here's another way that you can kick fear's butt. Number two, rewrite the narrative. Rewrite it. What you speak matters. You always hear me say there's power, right? There's life and death in what we speak. There's life and death in the tongue, right? Speak what it is that you seek into what it is that you seek becomes true. What you speak matters, and words shape our reality. So instead of saying things like, well, what if I fail? And I know so some people there's going to be like, oh man, she's really is not. Yes, I am. Well, what if I fly? What if I succeed? What if I live my wildest dreams? What if I do all of the things that I said I was going to do? What if? And speak life over yourself. I'm powerful. I am equipped. I am called. I am chosen. I am ready. I am prepared. I am focused. I am a force to be reckoned with. I am God's most precious and favored child. Anything I do prospers in the name of Jesus, right? Whether you believe in what I believe or not, that was just an example I'm using. That's what I believe on, right? And those are things that I speak life over my life every single time. Because it's not that I don't feel the fear. I just don't let it control me. Number three, if you're getting value from this, type of V in the chat. Love it, love it, love it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, yes, Lisa, words matter. Amen. Lisa said, go share your certainty, courage, and confidence with those students. Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate you. Love you. Thank you guys for all the V's. I always want to make sure you guys are getting value and you're taking notes because these are things and tools to serve you. So number three, set micro goals. I was the girl that I used to always just set big, big goals, macro goals all the time. And I am so grateful because one of the greatest mentors that I've ever had in my life, Mr. Josh Valenstein, always taught me the power of setting micro goals. And the reality is that fear wants you stuck. It does. It wants you to be paralyzed. And micro goals is what keeps you moving, because micro goals are those tiny things, those little things that you can do right now that if you implement in the next 2 to 3 weeks, you're going to see it make a dent on the macro goal. But that's what helps us be consistent and start with one thing a day. So whether it's you reaching out to a prospect, or whether it's you reaching out to a new client, or it's you reaching out to a brand and you know what, write the pitch email, post the reel, post the content, wake up 30 minutes earlier, get one extra rep in the gym, right? Stay on that run for 15 more minutes. Outline your next step. I'm going to tell you guys, I am running a Spartan race. It is coming up. Your girl does not feel fully prepared. And I was a little under the weather this week. And Monday, I woke up, I was not myself. I missed my gym session. So not proud of myself. Then Wednesday, I'm like, I'm ready. I'm going to the gym, blah, blah. I'm going to go with my trainer. I'm going to kick this cold out my body. Disease does not have any place here. I'm like declaring all this stuff. Never set my alarm. Didn't wake up, right? I'm like, oh my goodness. So yesterday I said, no, you got to go to the gym today. You got to go work out. I don't care what it looks like. You got to go full-fledged. You got to go. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go outside for a run because I know it's going to help me sweat more. I put my little sweet sweat band on, right? So if you don't know what that is, this kind of like helps you sweat more, right? So I put it on. I start running. I'm out of breath. I was like, you know what? Let me start walking. So I'm just like, I'm going to just walk. And then I was not happy with like the time that I did my first mile in. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do another mile. And then I jogged and I walked the second mile. So I improved in my time. And then I said, you know what? Let me just do one more mile. So I ended up doing 3 miles yesterday. And then I went and I forced myself to get in the gym. And I did 3 more sets of weightlifting because I love weight training, and I worked upper body and I worked lower body. Then I did some abs. But it was those little micro goals. It was those little things that I know if I keep doing that, if I keep showing up, it's going to take care of itself. The day that that race comes, it's not that I'm not going to feel fear, but I'm going to feel enough prepared enough to say, hey, you know what? You can feel the fear and do it anyway. You've been training for this for your entire life. And this is not going to defeat you. Doesn't matter how long, like I've already put it in my mind. It doesn't matter how long it takes you. You're going to finish. And you're not going to finish perfectly. You're just going to finish strong. So that also makes me think of how many things that we are just afraid of because the fear keeps holding you back of just taking the next step. So it's that little step. So outline what your next step is, because one small action a day builds momentum, and that momentum builds the confidence that you need, not only in your business, in your life. So whatever that little micro goal is, write it down. So I am a strong believer of building your core, right? And I'm not only talking about like your abs. So bear with me a second. Yes, your abs matter. And the stronger your abs are, actually, the stronger your entire body is. And that's why your core is important. So core exercises, absolutely. But let's talk about the secret to making moves even when fear is trying to hold you back. So does anybody know that secret? Type it in the chat as I take a sip of my cafecito. Somebody said consistency. Okay, right off the back. Okay, it says iPhone, so I don't know who it is, but you send it to host and panelists, not all panelists and attendees. No worries, but that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. So your core, right, is consistent, organized, reliable, and enduring. But let's talk about these 4 for a second. So consistent is showing up the same way every time. Showing up the same way every single time. And I'm even going to challenge that. I'm going to go back a little bit on that, because sometimes it's not necessarily that you're going to show up the same way and feel the same way, but it's just showing up. It's just showing up every single time. It's just showing up. Showing up, whatever that looks like for you. Just show up. Just show up, because that's half of the battle already. So you said, you know what? I'm going to read my Bible more. Cool. Just show up. Wake up earlier. Oh, you know what? I need to exercise. Cool. Just show up to the gym. See what weight speaks to you first. It may not be the treadmill. It's okay. All right. But see what speaks to you first, but just show up. Well, I want to go ahead and I want to work my business. Well, show up to the coffee shop. Show up. I promise you, if you get in an environment where you're engineering your environment for success, productivity matters. Here's another way that you show up: calendar optimization. Write it down in your calendar. That's something that I've started to do about 3 weeks ago, and it's just helped me so much. So it's like, no matter what, at this time, you're working. No, they try to book you on your calendar. No, I went on my calendar and I blocked that time. Why? Because it's like, that time is for me to work on my legacy, for me to work on my dreams, for me to work on my goals. Because here's another thing: when you're always serving everybody else, you stop serving yourself. And you got to take the time for you. You have to take the time to strengthen your core, right? So be consistent. Here's another way, right? That consistency, and something that I just alluded to, is staying organized. Staying organized, because part of your core is keeping structure. It saves time and stress. I cannot express enough the importance of calendar optimization. It's interesting. I was just talking to one of my girls from my church group, and she was like, you're always organized. I was like, no, I just work on it. It's not, I was like, she's like, because I always see you writing down and you're writing down stuff. And I was like, yeah, because I write stuff down in my calendar. I was like, my calendar is legit my second Bible. Like, if it's not on there, it's not happening. I schedule time to call my siblings. I schedule time to pray. My brother just went to work. He knows every time before. On Thursdays, we do it a little earlier. We schedule time for everything. I do my best to stay organized as possible, because when you are highly functioning, when you are highly performing, you understand that there's never a lack of time. It's what you're doing with your time. And every time when people be like, oh, I don't have time for this, and it's not that I'm not trying to be empathetic, but I promise you, if I take your phone and I go on your screen time, yeah, that screen time little thing, whether you got an Android or iPhone, it tells you got time. Your time has just been doom scrolling. And it's okay, because we all did it. We all do it at one point or the other. But don't tell yourself you have time. That is a lie that you tell yourself to justify you wanting to stay average. That is a lie that you tell yourself to justify mediocre behavior. That is a lie that we tell ourselves to stay stagnant, to stay complacent, to stay exactly where it is that you want to be at. So it's never that you don't have time. It's that you're not prioritizing the things that matter. It's that you're not staying organized. So keep the structure, because it saves you time and stress. Promise that. So another way of you strengthening your core, the R in core is reliable. Can others count on you? You can count on you. That matters. Are you reliable? Are you that person that not only others can count on, but that you can count on too? And I've honestly, this is something that I've not struggled with in a bad way, but I've also been more intentional, because it was too many people know that I'm just gonna do the most. So I was too reliable. There is such a thing, but you have to protect also not only your peace and your space and your time and what you're giving access to, right? And here's another thing, and this is not, in the literal sense, but can fear rely on you? Can fear rely on you to always give into it? Can complacency rely on you? And this is a way to flip it also, because sometimes it's not so much that you're not reliable to the people and the things that matter, but are you reliable to the things that are not serving us? So that is a question that, if you ask yourself and you're really honest with yourself, it can shift your entire life, because it's going to shift your entire mindset. And I always say your mindset is where your mind sits. And if something is not serving you, if it's not allowing you to get closer to your goals, closer to your dreams, closer to becoming the best version of you, don't let it sit there. The E in core, enduring, endurance. You keep going. But you know what that means? You keep going even when it's hard. You keep going even when it's hard to show up. You keep going even when you're hurt. You keep going even when you're in pain. You keep going even when you're failing because you know you're failing forward. But you keep going. You keep going. Doesn't matter. You just keep going. And for those people that are really about this life, right? The consistent. When you're breaking down the word consistent, and this is really how you're kicking fear. Yes, your core, you're strengthening that core, you're consistent, you're organized, you're reliable, you're enduring. But the consistent is your commitment. What are you committed to? Ask yourself this. I'm going to give you like 2 seconds to write that down. What are you committed to? Here's another better one. Who are you committed to? Are you committed to your dreams? Are you committed to your goals? Are you committed to that business? Are you committed to your team? Are you committed to your brand? Are you committed to your legacy? Who are you committed to? Commitment also means that you're going all in on yourself. A lot of times, and people would disagree, and that's okay, because, it is what it is. But I don't believe you should be going all in on anything except yourself. Because when you go all in on yourself, that means the business is going to get built. That means the dreams are going to get built. That means that everything else takes care of itself. Because going all in on yourself, that means my faith is taken care of. That means I'm taking time for the Lord. I'm taking time for myself, for mindfulness. That means that my family is taken care of. That means that I'm spending quality time with what matters, with who matter. That means that my fitness is taken care of. I'm taking time for my health because I realize that is part of my wealth, right? I'm taking time for wellness overall, right? That means that my fortune is taken care of, my business, my career, those dreams, those goals, legacy building. That means also that I'm having fun. Y'all heard me talking about Italy earlier, right? By the way, we're going to Puerto Rico and we're going to Colombia soon. So DM me for info on that. But yeah, that means when you are committed, you're going all in on yourself. And here we go on the 5 pillars of your faith, your family, your fitness, your fortune, your fun. So when you go all in on you, everything takes care of itself. The O is for optimism. You gotta expect things to work out. And I'll tell you, even when you don't feel like it, even when you feel broken, even when you're in pain, even when, you going through it, you have to believe that there's something greater on the other side. You have to believe that the pendulum is going to swing. You have to believe that prosperity is part of your inheritance. You have to believe that there's greatness within you, that great is his faithfulness. You have to believe that he can do all things but fail. You have to believe that you're worthy of achieving everything you set your heart on, everything you set your mind to. You have to believe that you didn't come this far just to get this far. Optimism. You have to expect things to work out. You have to. The N, inconsistent. Nurturing. Pour into your vision daily. Again, shout out to all of y'all that are on this call. There's people on this call from Hawaii that are up at ungodly hours over there, right? You have to pour into your vision daily. And when you are pouring into your vision daily, that also means that you're staying around people that are sharpening you, because iron sharpens iron. Commitment always lasts longer in the context of the right community. Pour into your vision daily. Nurturing is important. The S in consistent, steadfastness. Woo. If anybody know anything about Pamela Pacheco, is that steadfastness is real. I don't flinch. Stay planted and unshakable. Doesn't matter what happens. Stay planted and unshakable. You are unbreakable. Greater is he that is in you than he who is in this world. I, inconsistent, is integrity. Keep your word to you. If you said that you're going to do something, keep it. Keep your word to you. And it's not saying that you're perfect, but it's okay to say, hey, you know what? I didn't keep my word to myself yesterday, Pam, but I'm going to keep my word to myself today. And tomorrow I may not keep my word to myself, but I'm going to remember that I got to keep my word to myself more, because the more you do of what you said you were going to do, the more of what you do comes true. The S, inconsistent, sustainability. Pace yourself. No burnout. Man, I'll tell you that it was it's crazy because I'm that person that, because I'm like hard charged, I'm like, let's do it, no breaks, right? And it is, we're not gonna do that. And I've learned the hard way that I have to, yes, keep my word to myself, but I have to pace myself, because burnout is so real, and that's not what God wants for me. I know, as his precious child, I wouldn't want that for my children. I don't want that for my godchildren. I don't want that for the people that I love. Burnout is so real. You got to pace yourself. And it's not saying that you just have a day that, or a week that you don't do anything, but you have to honor rest. You have to honor your body. You have to honor where you're at in life. And sometimes you do need that. You just need to pace yourself. You need to rest, because that is part of success as well. No burnout. You have to take time for you, but just pace yourself. Sustainability matters when you're being consistent. The T, inconsistent, tenacity. Keep pushing no matter what. Keep inching at it, one step at a time. Maybe it'll take you longer today than it did yesterday, right? Maybe today you will have more bandwidth to tackle those things that you didn't really want to tackle yesterday. It's okay. Give yourself grace, but just keep pushing no matter what, because you're worth it. Your legacy is worth it. Your dreams are worth it. E, inconsistent, is endurance. This is for the long game. Period, point blank. It's not it's long term. It's long-term vision, but you have to play for the long game. Noteworthy is the N, inconsistent. Let your consistency speak for you. I've learned very, very much so that, God is always going to defend me. God is always going to fight my battles. I'm also at a point in my life, in my business, in my career, in my legacy, that I have zero time to address anything that does not serve me. So my consistency is going to speak for me, because the greater is better than anything. So it's also you knowing that, let your consistency speak for you, how you're showing up, how you are all the time. Let that speak for you. There's some things that you don't have to be the one that is speaking. Let the consistency, let the work show for you. You know what? Oh, you're not getting the results that you want right now. It's okay. It's gonna come. But let your consistency speak for you. Don't give up. Don't quit before the flip. Right? Let your consistency keep speaking for you, because I promise it's going to pay off. I was just talking to you guys about this speaking engagement, and it's interesting because I have been sending pitches and pitches and pitches, right, to different places, different things, for brand partnerships and speaking engagements, and following up on emails for clients, and B2B for my business, and all of these things, and following up with prospects for my travel and lifestyle, like all of these things. I've been following up. And I was just like, and I really just told God, I'm like, God, like, you told me I got to be consistent, and I know it's coming, but when? Like, I know that the pendulum is going to swing, because I know great is your faithfulness, but when? And I randomly get a text message randomly, get a text from my friend, shout out to Lizette Rivera. My friend puts me in a text thread with the director, I guess, of this high school, and is like, hey, here's my friend Pam, and they need a motivational speaker, and it's for 9th to 12th graders, and I know you'll be perfect. And it was like God, it was a God wink, because it was really God telling me, girl, relax, I got it. But you keep showing up for you. You keep doing what you need to do. It's going to come. And I'm so grateful that because I'm consistent, I'm greater than I am a failure, right? And those, I'm greater in things that I than sometimes that I think of myself. It's like my name is being spoken in rooms that I'm not in. My name is being highly spoken about in conversations that I have no idea about. And that's happening more at a greater scale than the opposite. And for that, I'm grateful. But it's, again, let your consistency speak for you. And as we wrap this up, the T in consistent is for trustworthiness. Be dependable on your mission. Be dependable on your mission. Be dependable on your mission. Can people trust you? And again, if you are taking notes, because note takers are history makers, the C in the core was consistent, organized, reliable, enduring, in consistent commitment, optimism, nurturing, steadfastness, integrity, sustainability, tenacity, endurance, noteworthy, trustworthiness. And as we close this out, you don't rise to the level of your dreams. You fall to the level of your systems. The systems you stand in place. System stands for saving yourself some time, energy, and money. So now it's time to take action. So my challenge for everyone listening to this, including myself, is your legacy moves challenge. The legacy move challenge. So for the next 7 days, do one thing every day that move towards your dreams. It could be a DM, it could be a reel, it could be a video, it could be an editing of a video that you need to do. Hint, note to myself. It can be a journaling session, it can be a pitch, it can be a prayer, it can be a workout, it can be a phone call, anything. And post about it. Share your journey and use the hashtag for me, Fearless Legacy Moves. And tag me, Pam the Plug, okay? So I can cheer you on. And remember, fear is not your final stop. Name it, name the fear, face it, and move anyway. Set micro goals, take daily action, build your core, and stay consistent. Your dream is valid, your purpose is real, and your legacy matters. And as always, I believe in you. I am working with you on this journey. And if this spoke to you in any way, shape, or form, share it with a friend. We're gonna get back to posting all of these things on our YouTube channel, but breakfast has been served. It is always an honor, pleasure, and privilege to serve you. Blessings on blessings. Take care. Talk soon. God bless.